Everyone wants to know what's going through your mind. Is the old Mike back? Is vintage Mike back? Let us know.
Are you talking to me right now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm back, yeah.
You're the star.
I'm just happy to be here. I love you too, thank you.
When you and your team were watching Jake after the Mike Perry fight, you said the difference between me and him is that he's a manufactured killer. He's the killer that papers and TV made. I'm a natural born killer. That's what you said.
Joe Rogan, one of the most influential voices in combat sports, didn't hold back his disappointment following the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul spectacle. On his popular podcast, Rogan aired his frustrations, labeling the fight a circus act that tarnished the dignity of the sport he loves. "It wasn't a fight, it was a cash grab," Rogan lamented, shaking his head. People tuned in thinking they'd see the Iron Mike of old, the Predator in the ring. Instead, we got whatever that was. His dismay echoed the sentiments of countless fans who had eagerly anticipated Tyson's return, only to feel let down by the event's bizarre theatrics. For many, Tyson's mere presence was enough to inspire hope, and for some, reckless confidence.
Man, I mean, to me, that was like watching some WWE type of shit. To me, there's two different ways to look at it. Like, I was out at a restaurant and we were drinking and all this type of shit. Couldn't fully hear the commentary and all that. But for what I'm watching, to me, there was times that I felt like Mike could have hit this dude and didn't hit him. You know what I mean? But then on the converse, you know, people saying, yo, this dude Jake Paul was actually giving Mike some mercy. You know what I mean? Mike's legs was looking bad, and you know, I think the whole thing was scripted. The whole thing was just a money grab. And for a lot of us that love Mike, and despite what he said in that interview with the girl about the legacy, we love him and his legacy, and we didn't like what we saw last night. What we saw last night seemed like something that very much tarnished his legacy for a little bit of bread, you know? And somebody will say, oh, 20 million, that's not a little bit of money. Well, you know, I was talking to my man Isaiah Washington earlier, and he was breaking it down as far as like, nigga, you know the government takes half, you know what I mean? Then you got to give your handlers or whatever 20%, you might graciously walk away with 5. You know what I mean? You might get 5 out of that 20. You see what I'm saying? So is $5 million, I mean, and that's nothing to sneeze at. I'd love to be paid $5 million for something, but is that worth tarnishing your legacy? Someone like Mike Tyson, you know? I think a lot of us would say no. You know, yeah, I think it was just a disappointing performance. Yeah, I didn't like the fact that Mike turned around and gave us his ass to kiss for the whole world to see. That was some crazy shit too. Like, I don't know what that was about. Like, Mike just don't give a I never in the history of boxing seen no shit like that. Like in the history of sports, I never seen no shit like that. In the locker room and all this type of shit. Like, that was crazy. I don't know if that was, again, part of the scripting of what we watched last night, but that was nasty work. And yeah. And I just feel like these Paul dudes, you know, Jake Paul and the other one, I feel like they're fighting, they're trying to just cut the line. They're using money and all this to try to fight some of our greatest fighters, our greatest black fighters too. They're taking our greatest black fighters, fighting them after their prime and saying, hey, I fought them, like, you know what I mean? Trying to almost be like that great white hope, but not legitimately. Even though you just informed me that this was a sanctioned fight. This was a sanctioned fight, which means this is officially on Mike Tyson's record that he lost to this guy. And it's on Jake Paul's record that he won, that he beat Mike Tyson. And although it was officially sanctioned, does that mean that the fight was truly official? Does that mean that, they couldn't have agreed on an outcome? Because I believe regardless, there was going to be an outcome. One got paid $40 million and one got paid $20 million. I believe the guy that got paid $40 million, in the script, he was going to win regardless. And maybe that's why Mike was biting on his glove the whole night and shit. Because he was so frustrated that the fact that he can't just let his hands go. Because we saw clips of Mike training where he was looking explosive, bro. Where was that Mike? Where was that Mike last night? Like, I just feel like they were like, you are not going to hit this boy. You are not going to break this man. And you're going to and he's going to hit you though. For this money, you're going to let him hit you. Now, again, people's like, man, Jake could have handled him. Maybe he could have, Mike was looking bad, but at the same time, I know experience can sometimes overcome youth, and the boxing knowledge that Mike has, and if he was working out and all that inner power that an older man can garner, like, I don't know, man. I just feel like he never let his hands go, ever, in the you know what I mean? But Jake Paul might have not let his fully go either, so, yeah.
So you personally, right, you feel like the fight was fake?
I feel like all those Jake Paul fights are not real. I mean, I feel like they're boxing to some degree, but I feel like it's definitely a lot of entertainment that's mixed into it. I feel like these guys feel like, yo, this is the new formula. Like, trust me, we got this, this is the new, this is boxing for the internet age, for the, for the IG age and all of this type of shit. These dudes was just influencers who decided, yo, I want to box. And now 4 years later, you get to fight Mike Tyson? Come on. There's people that's been paying their dues all their life and never get a chance like that. You understand what I'm saying? And you could just cut the line like this. It's because this is entertainment. This is, you know what I mean? It's like WWE. And people know that WWE is fake and they still go to it. They still watch this. They still have their favorite fighters and all that type of shit. It's just that boxing comes from more of a pure place that we don't believe that they would do some shit like this. But when you got dudes like this, like Jake Paul and them, they're the promoters, right? So when you have people that don't even necessarily have any kind of real attachment to the sport, any real love for the sport, about its traditions and all of that, and are saying, listen, I found us a new way to make money. You want to make money or not? You know what I mean? That's what the he's saying. And especially dudes that thought my biggest bags were behind me. They're like, I'll get a free bag with these white boys. Why not? You know what I mean? Let them live out their fantasies and shit. Because that's what this is. They're just living out their fantasies.
Me personally, me knowing what I know now, because I had no idea that, whoever lost that fight, it's on a permanent record. If it was an exhibition, I would have never had no issue with it. But yeah, that's crazy, man. Me personally, I would have never took the 20 million.
Right. Unless you like, that, man. I don't give a You know what I mean? And I guess just that's the attitude he's taking. Now, I thought Mike was getting bread from the cannabis and all this type of shit. I mean, I guess an extra $5 million is an extra $5 million. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, he ain't walk away with no 20. So the, you know, a lot of people try to justify it like that, but that's not your take-home pay. I'm sorry. But again, nobody paying me $5 million right now for nothing, so I can't talk shit about that. That's what they're gonna say in the comments. Nobody paying you $5 million. Okay, you're right. You're right.
For influencers and nostalgia acts, Rogan said, it's supposed to be about the best fighting the best. This was a parody. For Tyson, the loss added a bittersweet chapter to his storied career. In post-fight interviews, he appeared unbothered by the outcome, emphasizing that the fight was more about entertainment than competition. I'm 58 years old, he reminded fans. This wasn't about proving anything. It was about having fun. Rogan, however, wasn't satisfied with that explanation. Tyson deserved better than this, he said. The fans deserved better. And boxing, as a sport, deserves better. The aftermath of the fight left a lasting sense of disillusionment among fans and gamblers alike,